So, good evening. Good evening. We're back again. We're going to talk about transfers and Lacazette out of contract in the summer coming. Is he about to be offered a new deal? We're going to delve into it and I'm going to break it all down, scan through the BS and give you my opinion on it and whether I think it will happen, because that's what we do on this channel. We don't say what the club are going to do. We don't say what the journalists are going to do. We say, this is what I think, because it's supposed to be about your opinion. Before I do that, make sure you are spamming the like button. Also, make sure you go and check out the stream I did earlier. That stream was sick. There's going to be a new show every Tuesday, 2 p.m. UK time. And it's with Eunice Talks Football and Man Knows Football, Goonie, and Northside. Northside's funny, man. Make sure you go and check that stream out. Did that earlier on this afternoon, like I said, 2 p.m. Tomorrow, London Club Carnage. I'm on that with Matisse, Toby, and Corey. And I'm sure Toby will be gloating about Antonio. Chelsea, as I record this, are currently 1-0 up at half-time against Juventus. Youth Project is fully banging down at Chelsea. Trevor Chalobah scoring his first Champions League goal for the club. And yeah, proper Youth Project. Who knew? Proper manager. Who knew? But there we go. It is what it is. This is a transfer video, so we'll leave the manager out of it. Before I get into talking about Lacazette, I want to talk about Renato Sanches. He's so heavily linked to Arsenal at the minute, and I'm not really sure why, if I'm honest. I think the only reason I can think that we're being linked to Renato Sanches is the fact that we've got Thomas Partey, Mohamed El Neni, and Pepe going to the AFCON. Excuse me. So we're going to need some level of midfielder, whether it be a centre mid. Obviously, two of our centre mids are going. Sambi Lokonga at the moment is going to be hit and miss. That's why they decided to do this and go with a youth project, because then they're going to have some good performances, some bad performances. What we need is a proper DM. And Thomas Partey is not a DM. He's more of a box-to-box than a DM. Sambi Lokonga, pretty much the same. They're both very similar. We do need a DM. Renato Sanches, is he a DM though? And this is why I'm confused as to why we're linked to him. He's not a DM really, is he? Again, he's more of a box-to-box. He can play higher up the pitch. He can play at DM. Me personally, I don't want him. He's had a stint in the Premier League, albeit many, many moons ago. Was at Swansea, flopped. Bayern, flopped. I've never really been convinced by this guy. He is still young. He is only 24 years old, but not really convinced by Renato Sanches. 30 million quid, 35 million or something they want for him. Not for me. Go and add another 15 million to it and go and buy Yves Bissouma down at Brighton, because that is a proper DM. And his passing, his dribbling, his technical ability is actually very good. His passing's got a lot better this season and towards the back end of last season. And yeah, 50 million quid. We should be dangling that little carrot in front of Brighton and saying, give us your best player. Whether we do or not remains to be seen, because we know Penny Pinch FC is going to be in full flow in January and probably in the summer as well. They've blown their load with Mikel. They've given him £250 million. And yeah, you can decide whether the players are any good. Let's move on to Lacazette. Lack of threats, lack of 90-minute football. He can only seem to last 60 minutes because this manager, for some reason, don't want to play him, which I find baffling, if I'm honest, because, listen, albeit his output's not amazing, the one thing you will say about Laka, and I'm gonna kind of contradict myself, but I'm not, if that makes sense. But the one thing you can say about Laka is when he's on it, he works his nuts off. And this is why I'm saying I'm going to contradict it. But you should work your nuts off. You're playing for Arsenal Football Club in Premier League football. It should be a given that you work hard. You work hard, you establish control of the game, then you get your right to play football. But in recent weeks, since he came off the bench and scored the equaliser against Palace, he's been one of our best players. At the weekend against Liverpool, he weren't fantastic, but still shouldn't have been substituted. Like, you need goals, and you take off somebody who can ruffle them up, can score goals, and you bring on a geezer who's just a hype merchant from Norway. That's all he is. He's just hype for 14-year-old kids to fancy him. Like, it's kind of peak, I can't lie. But there is a lot of rumours doing the rounds that we are looking to give him a short-term contract at the end of this season, which I read it. Then I read it again. And then I thought, this is typical Arsenal. And I actually could see it happening, if I'm being honest, because let's be real, if we was to sell him now in January, we're going to get peanuts for him. 5-10 million quid if we're really lucky, because he's only got 6 months left on his contract come the end of December, end of this year. So he's only going to have 6 months left. So he's currently got 7 months as it stands, right? So if we sell him, we're now a player light, a player that will get game time at this football club. Let's not forget, Aubameyang's also going to the AFCON. So there's no way for me that he's going in January, because now you've got Aubameyang out the team. You can't sell Laka because Balogun has got hardly any game time, if any, this season. I think he's had a couple of minutes here, a couple of minutes there. Martinelli doesn't seem to like. And again, a few minutes here and a few minutes there. And Eddie Nketiah is just nowhere near good enough anyway. So we would be absolutely shafting ourselves if we was to sell Laka in January. So I think he will stay until the end of the season. And at the end of the season, I do actually think he'll sign a new contract, because I don't think anybody is going to pay him the level of money that we're paying him, plus more, because he's a free agent. If he was under contract for, say, 2 years, 2.5 years, then he's probably worth about 40 million quid, 35, 40 million quid. He ain't that great. He's not prolific. He's not going to challenge for a title with the amount of goals that he scores, etc., etc. What he is kind of a utility guy. Like, you put him in to ruffle him up, you come get him back towards halfway, he'll knock the ball round, he'll sprint in the box, he's good with his feet, and he'll score the odd goal here and there. But how many teams are going to pay 200, 250 grand a week for somebody of that ilk? I can't see it. The only club that was in for him when we signed him was Atletico. Why would Atletico go and get him? They got Griezmann back. Why would they do that? They don't need him. They genuinely do not need him. You know, I don't think that he will be leaving this football club. If he does, then he'll have to take a pay cut, because he's currently on 160 grand a week, apparently. And I genuinely can't see anyone paying it. And normally when a player runs their contract down, they're going to get a bigger wage when they go to the next club, because there is no fee to pay to the club that he's come from. So you've saved all of that millions. So you incorporate a bit more of that into a bigger deal. There ain't no club on this planet that's going to pay him over 200, 250 grand a week. I don't believe it, apart from us, who will be stupid enough to give him a deal on 200 odd grand a week. And I do think that's going to happen. I think he'll get a little 2-year deal, and we'll probably end up selling him maybe, I don't know, next year, year after, or we may just give him a year deal and just let him go for nothing the following year, because at the end of the day, we have to think smart here, right? Albeit I don't think he's great, and I don't think Aubameyang's been on it. He ain't been on it for 18 months. Pretty much since Mikel Arteta's been here, he ain't really been on it, other than the cup final and a few other games. He ain't really done much, has he? But you've got to think logically. You could not sell Lacazette in January when Aubameyang is going to the AFCON, which is why he's going to stay. And I do think they are trying to work on a deal. I believe that. You know, I may be wrong. I may have to sit and go, oh, I got it wrong. Because I know some of you lot go, oh, you said this, and you said, yeah, guess what? It's only my opinion, mate. Don't mean it's going to happen, does it? But I do think that this will happen. I do think that he will get a new deal. I do think it'll either be a year, maybe 18 months, 2 years, whatever it may be. And I do think that he will be staying, because let's be real, also, it'll work out cheaper to pay to pay Lacazette 200 grand a week for 2 years, which will equate to 20 million quid, than it will to go out and buy a striker plus wages to come in and replace him. Let's say we go and get Ivan Toney, for example, or Ollie Watkins. Well, that's going to be 40 million quid plus 100 grand a week. So that's now what? 100 grand a week. That's 5 million a year. For 4 years, that's 20. Plus the 40, you've done 60. Well, we could just re-sign Laka for 20 million over 2 years. So this club is going to look at it like that, I believe. And I do think that he's also probably going to look at it and think, where am I going to be able to go to actually like get that level of wage anywhere else? I don't see anyone buying him. I genuinely don't. The only place I could see him potentially going is maybe somewhere like Napoli, like somewhere in Italy, perhaps, and Inter Milan, maybe. But they're skint. They're in 600 million debt. Napoli, if they sell Osimhen, then they'll have the they'll have the money to buy him, or pay him, sorry, should I say. But I just don't think it's going to happen. There's not a lot of clubs on this planet that are flush with money right now. And if there's strikers out there that are more prolific than Lacazette, and there's plenty of strikers out there, Isak, Vlahovic, two to just like throw out there, they're more prolific than this guy. So why would a club go out there and actively pay him 250 grand a week for the next 3-4 years? I don't see it happening. And on the flip side, like I've said, I do think that it saves Arsenal about 40 to 50 million quid. But again, we will be in this predicament if he does sign a contract for a year or 2 years. We'll be in this again in a year or 2 years. Plus, we've also got Aubameyang then going to be in the last year of a deal. We've just mismanaged this football club from top to bottom for a very long time. But what do I know? I'm negative. I'm toxic. And yeah, I'm just a numpty YouTuber. Listen, big up to everyone who's watched. Make sure you stick a like on this video. I didn't put my rat on the screen. Fuming. I didn't put the Rat Army badge on the screen. How dare I? There it is. Bit of Master Splinter. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you share the stream around. Make sure you go back and check out the stream with Eunice, with Goonie, and with Northside. That stream was sick. Go and check it out. It's about 40 odd minutes long. And I'll be back again tomorrow. 2 uploads again. One will be a stream and one will be an upload. Obviously, I'm not going to stream when Champions League's on. It's a waste of time because no one will watch it. So all have a wonderful evening. And don't forget, come and check me out on Matisse's channel tomorrow at 1 p.m. UK time. And that should be fun. We're out of it.